Dukniak here.
Mira Kresovic.
Over here. Let's stand and say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think we can do approval of the minutes, but before we do that, I think that normally my name shows it, that I'm as part of the commission there. Does that make sense? When they're doing it, when they're saying on roll call the following, we're in attendance, it says who's there.
Yeah, you're here.
Doesn't say my name.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, in the minutes.
I know I'm here tonight.
So we'll add Grosvenor.
Where is it?
On roll call.
On roll call.
In that second section, it's who's all.
So we'll amend that to State Commissioners Grosvenor, Shabilsky, and Kresovic.
Okay, is there a motion to approve that?
So moved as amended.
And is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, then we need approval for our voucher list for October.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carried. Now we get into the tough stuff. We're on the Water Performance Commission. Performance?
Want to start with anything?
No.
Okay.
Should I? Yeah, I
Probably.
think you should.
I think you should.
Sure.
Oh,
Okay, hello. What exactly would you like me to talk about?
I'll take
I
it.
can talk about anything, but what specifically?
Maybe how he's here in
Right.
place of what's
I
going
can do
on.
that.
What's going on with that?
Okay, so I'd like to thank Mr. Mike Roberts for his 45 years of very dedicated service to the city of Franklin. Mike was a valued member of this community, still remains a valued member of this community, and Mr. Beardsley now has been elevated to the superintendent position on a temporary basis. However, we are very confident that he will be fulfilling that role in the future full-time. So we thank him for taking the challenge and his dedication as well. And moving forward, we will be addressing everything to Mr. Beardsley as he now takes confident and strong control of this position.
Yay! We're gonna be
Welcome.
thank you. That's what I was alluding to. Okay, with that, it's been busy, both in the field and me
Sorry.
taking the wheel in short notice. But we're getting through things and we're getting caught up, and everyone's been a big help. As far as the utility, we started a leak detection survey yesterday. So they're 2 days in, nothing substantial as of yet. I mean, it'll maybe a hydrant leak but with only 2 days in and still 120 miles of pipe to go. They figure they'll probably take till Thanksgiving.
How are they doing it?
Listening to valves, walking.
Okay.
So all the ductile iron pipe, they're just doing hydrants and valves. They're starting with that. Then when we move to the PVC pipe, they're going to hydrants, valves, and try to listen to curb stops the best they can. It's a lot. There's a lot to cover. So, I mean, if they get in a spot, some are buried, we'll work harder to isolate and correlate. It'll be basically, I think it was like 6 years ago. I didn't see the date of when we did it last, but so yeah,
It was 3, but I know it's 1.
that has started at least. We did have a newly relocated hydrant hit by a semi truck.
Oh,
at 3:30 in the morning.
Where?
That wasn't supposed to be there.
May I ask where?
Highway 100 and that little service by the storage, that little service road. We had to move everything back for the road work. And it wasn't there before. So
what, the truck or the hydrant?
the hydrant was never there before, so. But luckily, there were 2 officers on a different call right there, witnessed it all.
Oh,
So we will have a police report. 'Cause besides breaking the lead, snapped the hydrant itself below grade, so.
do we recover the water loss too then?
Yeah, we're gonna do the best we can and charge them. I calculated it roughly at 250,000 gallons. So, yeah,
Oh, the lead broke off also?
yeah, he broke the lead plus the barrel, so yeah, it pushed.
Usually there's a sacrifice.
No, and I think it's because it was all newer fill for them to relocate,
So
so.
you said that it wasn't there and was surprising that it was there, so, or not? I mean, you expected it to be there?
The driver was surprised that it was.
Oh, this driver, yeah, clearly, okay. I just want to make sure, like, we
No,
are aware of
no,
this. Okay.
no,
We never
no,
saw that there
Right.
before.
Right.
We took
Who
part
took
in all
care of
this.
Okay.
moving it. He was unaware that it was in a different location, and
Okay.
Also, he's even used to coming through this area, but
I think he is.
So when you say that we're gonna charge him, are we charging the driver himself or the company?
It'll go to the insurance. Their insurance. We'll have the
Okay.
police report and everything, new hydrant, labor, concrete, new sidewalk has to be
Yeah, because
poured.
that's going to be pretty.
Yeah. It'll be over $10,000.
What's our deductible at 2,500?
But he hit it.
Well,
he is.
Oh, yeah, right. It would
I'm
be-
sure they'll be, being that there's no personal injury, I'm sure they'll be just happy to pay it.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Yeah,
for pointing that out.
that's-
Not even.
that's kind of, leak detection's kind of our biggest push right now, and
Yeah, we'll
getting
talk
that
about
knocked out. So we'll see where it goes. So, yeah, that's all I have.
okay, do you have anything to report having to do with unfinished business on Lower's Lane water tower and the water main?
There's a change order later on in it.
Change order 3 where there's a reduction in contract A, so I don't see any issues with that going forward.
And that should close out contract A, which is the target for the tower bit.
Okay.
Be closed out. The end of the month, we'll start the next section of water main from the tower down to the old Citgo. The end of the month, plan to prepare for that. The pedestal is finished. The concrete's poured. The dome or the floor has been poured. So the end of the month as well, they plan to be back to, next they'll start building all the steel for the bowl around it on the ground. So they plan to start that at the end of the month.
End of October.
Yeah, end of October. And there's still plenty of stuff they can do inside the stem. There's still a big, I don't know if you drove by when the crane was there. What the crane was sitting on is still in there. And they're using that as scaffolding as they come down. It's kind of interesting. So,
Kind of cool with a bowl on the ground, because you don't get to see how big it actually is. And that's the one time you can't see how big it is. Because once it's up in the air, your perspective is all thrown off. So it's really cool to see it on the ground.
right, yeah, right, it'll be, and that's, so what's there, it'll still probably be at least another 50 feet higher.
And when they put the bowl on the top, did it multiple cranes to lift it? No?
They use the pedestal with
Oh,
like jacks all the way around and
Okay, got
cables. They just slowly slide it right up.
It actually goes up pretty quick.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want more info on that project. I can give a little bit more, but not.
Well, it sounds
Don't mind
like,
me, sorry, I forgot this.
Oh,
sounds like it's going pretty good.
Nothing else we should know, right?
No, we're just trying to finish up some items. We've got to bring it for public hearing for the special assessment, as that has not been done yet. And the bids that the council had approved did not include any laterals to the right of way, so would not allow anybody to connect. And then we are also looking for finalizing the location of where we're going to put the valves and key for O'Malley's property,
How do you have the public hearing after the project?
because we have a choice.
Is that even
So
legal?
are those things that we messed up on?
yeah, we've talked with Jesse and the engineer on it. Will Hines helping.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at, what is it, 29 properties? Not 39 parcels?
It's 30.
39 parcels. I mean, I don't know how you don't have a public hearing. And or especially because of the Common Council had already approved for all of that.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk about special assessments on that because we made a change to the special assessment policy.
Yeah, so the ordinance allows for indefinite deferment now and changed the language so that the only way you hooked up is if you subdivided your parcel.
No, the only way you would be charged, and it would be is if you hooked up or subdivided.
Right.
Okay.
That's what the ordinance change was.
So if you subdivide, you're responsible right away.
Yes.
So, yeah.
But I think it was on hold because of the fact that we were working on doing contract C as well, which hasn't been out to bid yet, I don't think.
Contract
C
C is ready to
yeah.
go.
Oh, yeah, no, that's
It's
Vincent.
going at
It's
the,
Vincent, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Dorner.
there's probably a delay. When it was decided we were gonna move forward with C.
Wasn't there some ARPA money involved?
Yeah.
Yeah, which
Taking
now we have an issue with that Jesse's looking into because apparently there was some language around the use of ARPA money that was supposed to be included in any contract that used it, and none of our contracts have that in there.
That's a problem.
Yeah. So, essentially, we're going to be having the attorney go back and fix all the contracts.
Well, that's if
Oh,
we can.
if we
He's
can.
looking into it, especially since some of these contracts are already complete. Work's already done. I don't know if you go back and ask contractors to fix the contract and sign a new one.
Depends on what the language requires them. I mean, it might require a certain percentage of contract,
Right.
I
Like
mean,
some additional work. I see that. I think because you're supposed to include like specific labor language
Right.
in there.
Well, if they haven't fulfilled the requirement, they're not going to want to sign it. I mean, we can talk about this
Yeah.
later, but
Yeah, but that's just the other part of it.
Yeah, so,
okay.
Okay. New business, second quarter financials.
So I'll just quickly go over them. This is quarter 2. We're roughly equal to budget on our operating revenue. It looks like we're over 10% less to budget when we use the water usage estimates, but you'll see that again, I think a lot of what we're going to see within the financials, I believe, are due to the water loss percentage. We're just not collecting the amount of revenue for the amount of gallons that we're pushing through. We need to discuss that. The most recent PSC report showed that the water loss percentage is at 20%. And then I know that with the leaks survey, we could probably detect some areas for improvement. The operating expenses are higher, but that will be offset by the transfer of water impact fees that were anticipated. did borrow $3 million. The water tower project was 51% eligible for water impact fee usage, so again, we'll be using that. And then now, depending on this issue, ARPA funding, special assessment, the water tower project, that overall cost has increased due to contract C, which was supposed to be offset by ARPA funding though. We have one significant project in 2025, possibly two, but I didn't include any of that water revenue in the 2025 budget just because we're still unsure and unclear as to when that will be up and online. And then I'd be happy to answer any questions. I mean, overall, we're sitting at roughly $7.8 million in cash on hand, but our overall investments and assets of $3 million.
Can you answer the question? It's on the comparative revenue expenditures.
Yeah.
Administrative in general for 2024 is $2,103,110.
That covers all of the capital. So what's included in that is the entire water tower project.
Okay. By the time we get to the year end, does that look different?
No, because most of the project costs were anticipated to be in 2024. It's like over $7 or $8 million was spent in 2024 on that project.
So the capital expenditure is in administrative in general?
Yes.
I don't understand that.
That's an interesting way to show it.
Oh, wait.
We don't show it that way.
Because you
Those
make
are
our
your-
operating
those are your
income
operating expenses,
disastrous.
Because that was going to be my question too. Our current, I mean, we're spending a lot of money. And we had projected year-to-date budget. We had projected for $185,000 loss, but at a $1.7 million loss.
We're at the loss because I haven't done the transfer yet of all the water impact fee cash.
So does that change this when you do that?
Yes, so the Q3 will look completely different, because that transfer will be in there. Kind of look, now you guys have.
Yeah, operating expenses should not include the
Capital yes. I don't know why it's. Okay, I'll look into that.
Yeah, because I'd like to know that because otherwise we have some problems.
Yeah.
Significant problems.
I don't need any more.
I know, this is true, we do not.
I mean, if it is running through there should be a reason why it's running there. Maybe because it is utilizing those impact fees.
But if it gets corrected by the time we get to
Right.
the quarter, then it'll be fine.
Right. Do you know how much the impact fees are going to pay for?
Yeah, about $4.2 million.
On this page, it's the last line, it says the
4.2.
2024 revenue budget includes a transfer of roughly 2 from the impact fee fund. I don't know what page.
Yeah, and I can separate that out. This is how, I mean, not that it's how it's always been. I hate to use that phrase, but capital has always been under that administrative in general. That's why you'll see it's like $8.5 million. But again, maybe it could have just been I accidentally combined that, or
I'm sure you did.
Well,
I probably did.
there might be a reason if they're utilizing impact fees for it to run through there. But typically, capital projects do not run through the operating budget.
That's why I look for you for your expertise.
Yeah, well, typically capital would not run through here.
You know,
Because
Was
then
it-
it gets added to your capital and then you depreciate it off.
Correct.
Is
which
Paul
yeah,
still
towards the
helping you?
bottom.
Yeah.
What's that?
Is Paul still helping?
No.
No, he's gone.
you know, the last time, was it like this? Do you remember our last?
I was actually gonna look at that today.
Okay, yeah.
But I didn't have a chance to look at it. But I did notice it, Gary. I noticed this too. I was like, this doesn't look very good.
No, this is bad.
This looks bad.
You need to understand that we try to run it on an operating, we can be.
And I understand, and I saw it too, and it just, like I said, I've been so swamped, so it just.
But actually, even what we're projecting, we don't even like what we're projecting because we like to at least have a plus balance.
Yep.
$100,000 would be perfect.
Right.
And these are only these are only 6
Second
months.
part, yeah.
Right. Yeah, but if it gets better, then that's good for us.
Right. Well, but even if there's $4 million coming in, it doesn't get better for it. That doesn't get us better.
Well, it depends on how much more you have expenses you're gonna put in there, right?
And six more months of operating expenses.
Yeah,
You know,
but
yeah. I mean, you're
it's
right.
the water tower that's in there though, right?
The water tower shouldn't be in there. That doesn't make sense.
Right, we agree.
Yep.
They'll fix it.
Yep. Well,
Cause see, on these, cause on this other one, it's 8 million. The amended budget is 8,455,000.
Yes, because that's the carryover of the capital project of the big water tower, but it shouldn't be up there.
yeah, we'll have to look at that. Is the non-operating revenue, is that interest? Because that looks pretty
Yes.
good. Because interest rates are pretty good right now. Yeah, if you
Yeah,
could look
that's
into that.
mostly
'cause
interest
that-
and the water tower rent, or water property rent. But yes, I will look into that.
Okay. Are we done with looking at the second quarter financials?
Yeah, if you
well,
have to answer any other questions, or if you, any comments or suggestions you may have.
are we advertising for Mike's job, or, I mean, I'm not. So if you're going to fill Mike's, are we advertising for your job?
Not at this moment. Not Mike's job, it's right. I don't, have you sat down and talked to Dana at all? No. For your position? I know that Dana and I have had a couple of conversations,
Okay.
but they typically stemmed around Glenn and the interim, and then obviously the hope is that it would.
Well,
Because we posted for a city engineer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's posted, not exactly sure what we all have out there, because it's typically what Dana does.
Yeah.
But I know that she's mentioned to me that you're down 2 people now, right?
Yeah.
Because
We're
one
down
was never
one.
filled. Oh,
No,
okay.
we're just down one.
Okay.
the other
Okay.
question was with regards to lost water. You made the comment on the memo, you know, that we need to understand lost water, because the lost water is, we're using a lot of water, but we're not selling a lot of water. And you said it's closer to 20%, I think you said,
It's 20% for 2023.
which is
CSU.
ridiculously high.
Right.
But we're going through this, and you said they'll have something so we'll have something by December meeting?
We should have a good idea by November's meeting,
Okay.
I would
Well,
hope.
you said by Thanksgiving, and I didn't know if they'd come by then. But if they found anything
Yeah,
significant.
I mean, in a month, we should really, should be 2/3 of the way
Well,
done.
let's hope we find something, because
so.
That's pretty high.
So,
We better find something.
can you explain a little bit what happens when a water leak survey is done and kind of what the aftermath is? Just determine as a city what they found and then how to fix it and just kind of wait and see what the next year's percentage is?
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
I mean, my plan is to, I mean, if we come across something that, okay, we need to fix, you know, we're gonna get on it, but I'd kind of like to see what they're finding first, see what we have money yet to fix, you know, but kind of hold off till at least halfway through if we have some bigger ones, hit them, and now we're coming into a time of season where it's in the road, you know, if we gotta pour concrete, it's, I mean, if there's, you know, like, some things might definitely wait till next year, but until we kind of see what they're finding.
Well, we're gonna know how much we're losing and how the fix is gonna
Right.
make the adjustment to it.
Yeah, I don't know what they did, if they I think they, maybe, have you
I
kind of calculate what's being lost, but I
Well, you
don't know.
can calculate what's being
accurate.
lost, but if it's a major leak, I don't care if it's.
Well, yeah, right.
You know,
No.
because we don't want to. I mean, I'm assuming
Cost
this
us
is
money.
almost like there's
Yeah.
something broken. It's going into a storm.
Right,
That's
no, yeah, I
what
mean,
you don't know about.
they know that if they hear something big, you know,
Right.
we're gonna jump on that, but,
Right.
you know,
The little ones that can run. That's
Right.
That's different.
right, but that's what I'm,
But we're talking significant volume here, so there's got to be something leaking somewhere, or somebody's taking water.
And that's where I'm just like, now what's the next step? Because when Paul was, you know, helping me, he would tell me that it was tried, Board of Waters tried to keep it between like 10 and 12%.
Actually, lower than that would be.
Yeah, we wanna be lower than that.
But I mean, since, I think I put in here since 2019, or 2018, it was at 13, and it's just been up ever since. It was 19 last year, 18 before.
PSC is going to get on and get that high.
and I think it's gonna be some follow-up with, well, now, I mean, the season's done, you know, for hydrant meters, you know, being more diligent on bulk water usage, getting meters on, you know, like Public Works, it is, not pointing fingers, even our own guys got to report if you flush a hydrant.
Yeah, we talked about
Oh, yeah.
that, yeah.
So I mean, that needs to be implemented as well, that anything you probably need it, but we got to,
Yeah.
we
so
got to
it's not
account
lost water.
Right.
Right.
So I think there's a two-pronged approach of what they find in the water study, being more diligent in self-reporting.
Well, can we make you guys so that you are better at reporting? Even since we're having monthly meetings, and
Require it
it's
to
such
come back,
it's such a big
request it.
deal that
Right.
we should have a report on what we're doing on the water law.
Yeah, fully.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with Gary. When I saw the numbers for the budget, I was like, what's going on? And then I saw the revenue numbers and the water, you know, the negative numbers there again.
Well, it makes us kind of look incompetent.
Right. We need to figure out what's going on.
And the survey that they're doing, I can't remember how much it's going to cost.
75,000.
So 75,000. It's almost like until we really have a good handle on what we're doing, we ought to allocate $75,000 a year to have somebody. You can argue with me on that.
Well, they have those area ones too that you know, when they come in and they fly over.
It just
I mean, there's a lot of, I think we're in this, just started, we got, you know,
Okay.
let this play out, see what it shows, and if it doesn't show, then. I
Well,
mean,
you know, you
there's-
look at your major water users then, and you see.
Well, yeah, and
Are we metering correctly? Are they bypass?
Well,
Is there bypass that's open or something?
and it might be more inspections.
Right.
They gotta let us in.
Right.
To inspect.
Okay,
Who did you say that we, don't we have at least one big water user that's not online anymore?
Strauss is,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're,
so,
Yeah.
although they're like,
yeah, so,
talks.
yeah, I mean, I think get this survey done and see where we're at and readdress where we can go.
okay.
And then I apologize and I will absolutely get a update on that. And I can even just send it via email instead of waiting till the next meeting if you'd like.
Well, if you have questions, give me a call. I can always talk to our.
Yeah, and I will do that because like I said, I'm still learning the normal budget, let alone the water stuff, so.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, the proposed budget,
No, we got,
No, the transmission main change order.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so this is going to council tonight.
yeah, it's just a reduction in the order, it's a final closeout and was reduced because, the result of allowances not required and a reduction in project quantities.
And it should be real tough to get them approved that.
I know, right?
Should we approve? I mean, do we need a motion?
It asks.
It asks
Okay.
to,
Okay. So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
I guess that was my question. I wasn't quite sure because it's a water project, it's water budget, but the prior two change orders went right to council and didn't come to the Board of Water. So I wanted to bring this one to Board of Water because I thought that's how it should be since you're using water funds.
They
I
should.
think that you'll do a good job for us in the future.
So, like I said, so the other two change orders were approved through the council, but I just
Yeah.
Okay.
wanted to
The
bring
change order should come through here.
first. Okay. I just
Shouldn't
wanted to make
everything
sure.
kind of come through here first and then go over there?
Typically, that's how it does because the council looks.
Well, typically, yes.
Right, and that's why I said I went back and looked, and I was like, wait, these never went to Board of Waters, but they did go to council. So I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that, or that I wasn't doing something wrong, that they are supposed to come here first. So, okay. So we got that one.
That's good
Proposed budget now?
for everybody.
Yes. So again, please bear with Glenn and I. Obviously, there's been a lot of change. This kind of came last minute. Glenn and I worked on this together last week. And then again, any information, recommendations, please let us know. The revenue side of the operating budget, what I have here for the recommended budget as far as metered sales, I did provide on the next page the water revenue forecast, and that's based on quarters 1, 2, and 3 of actual data, and then forecasted quarter 4 data, and that's based on averages over the last 10 years to include wet and dry seasons. That's where those revenue numbers came about. Public fire protection, that's still the same. And then city public fire protection is the same as well. As far as the operating expenses go, I know that they're all squished together, but I did print each line item if you guys had any questions as to maybe what the difference is between the 24 and the 25 budget. I don't know if Glenn wants to speak on anything, but basically we pretty much kept things relatively flat except a little bit of inflationary increases in some of the supplies. And then the increase in personnel wages, which this year the projected budget is a 2% increase for all employees and a 3% increase for all employees that live in the city of Franklin. So overall, the operating loss is showing at a negative $25,000. So wanted to kind of discuss maybe what that means. But
Are we limiting our pool of employees if we give them 1% less increase, especially for? I know we're having a very difficult time filling positions. positions.
I wish the mayor was
We
here
are
to speak
too.
on it. That's been a
That's
big
his-
conversation in the finance
It's
committee.
his, it's his desire to do.
Yeah,
I don't think
like
the finance committee or the council approve it or support it, but yeah, that's his
Yeah.
project.
So
and
that's
his
what's recommended
direction,
here.
so.
Obviously, you guys have
I
the
don't,
ability to,
I don't really like it because it really limits your pool for employees. And I'm sorry, we're having a hard time. I'm sure you're having a hard time finding people. You don't want to, and handicap yourself by telling people, well, if you're out of the city, then you get 1% less. And 3% is actually below the cost of living right now. I mean, 3.5 is what budgeting. So, it's I don't necessarily know that I'd want to handicap myself by doing that. So I would not be in favor of it. I
so you
don't
would
know.
like to keep it at the 2%
I'd,
flat for everybody?
I'd do 3% for everyone.
I don't,
We
to
won't
be
be able
honest,
to
I
do
don't know how
that.
that works for,
Yeah, I don't know how.
Our wages, our department wages run this whole city as a whole.
Well, yeah, but you're in a revenue fund. So
yeah,
it's
but
not-
you're in a enterprise fund,
yeah,
I get
enterprise
that.
fund, sorry.
So it is run a little bit differently, but I guess I've never really come across with
Yeah,
So we would just take all the employees and ensure that they're being paid by the revenue instead of.
no.
well, no, they're
So water and sewer are run as their own business enterprise because they're based on
Right.
user fees and everything. So they don't come out of the general fund, so it would be like saying, any
Right. The
non-rep
library,
employee,
something like that.
all of
Yeah.
us, be one way, anybody in the water and sewer department would get a completely different wage increase.
it's the way it works by us.
Well, and then.
I'm just saying, I
But
don't know
we
if that's
also
ever
have
worked
an
that way
employee,
here, so.
we also have an employee that goes back and forth, so.
Well,
That'd
I
be
just-
interesting what her.
Again,
We're gonna
I
spend more
don't.
time in the one area.
If you're budgeting for a 3% increase for residents and increase for non-residents, I would just say that I would get rid of that budget consistent across the board. Whether that's 2.5%, 3%. I can't support that.
Okay, so again, I think that would have to be a discussion on how that looks for all the other employees then.
If I remember at finance, there was a discussion
There was an extensive discussion about it, yeah, and
within.
I'm
not
saying, but our budget
supported
couldn't
by-
support more than a 2%
Right.
raise, so that's what I'm saying. I don't
So
know
we're
what our
probably just have to
handbook
do
allows.
2% across the board, and
There's got to be some employees at Franklin. There's got to
Yes.
be some employees that live in Franklin.
Well, but the finance committee, I think, shot it down, so I'm already working on
Oh.
redoing the budget to just show a 2% increase. 'Cause
Wouldn't it
it's-
be like a 2.1 or quarter?
no, because there's like 50 employees that live in Franklin, and it was total 28 grand for. And I doubt that spread it across 250 come out.
Yeah.
I mean, just as an example, we do a market study every 5 years, and we try to stay with market. And, over the last several years, the cost of living has been a little bit higher. And if you're giving 2%, especially like in the water and sewer enterprise funds, you're just handicapping yourself. You're going to have a hard time finding.
And you guys are not in a union.
Yeah, and
Police and fire would
this is actually a conversation that unfortunately we don't have for our operating budget.
No, but I guess, like he's
but-
saying, it's just how do you,
Yeah, but
I
I
don't
mean,
know
I
how
see what
many-
you're saying because it's across the city,
Right.
and employees are more and more aware of that too.
Glenn, is there anybody, do you know, in the water or sewer department other than, I even believe Gary's probably all water sewer,
She is.
so.
Christy's the one that goes back and forth.
Yeah, but
She's at half.
Christy doesn't have, is any of her wages in the water and sewer department? I
Yeah,
don't
she
believe so.
charges, she's supposed to be charging
50.
time
Christy does? Okay.
when she's over there. And that, right, that comes a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's gonna come down to, I think, our needs far outweigh our budget. So, how to get something, how to change that, gonna end up being reduced tax rates.
Yeah, that's always. I'm not advocating for that.
No, I get it.
I mean, that's not what I mean.
It's just a conversation, I get it.
Yeah, it's just, again, having something where you're differentiating between employees and you're creating classes of employees does not necessarily bode well for morale or for recruitment of new
Right.
employees. It just makes it more difficult. So I would be adamantly.
Yeah, and it's already difficult.
I wish she was here because I would have a discussion with her.
So knowing that this budget shows a deficit already, I mean, how would you
Well,
recommend balancing
Rate
it, or what would
increase.
you guys, huh?
rate increase. When's the last time we've been in a rate increase?
think
A
you're-
while?
I mean,
Weren't you waiting, wasn't the thought to wait till the tower was done?
Correct.
That was what
And then
yeah.
Glenn,
I mean, we're going to have to go in for a rate increase, and PSC is going to probably force
gotta
you
be a-
if you haven't been in there for a while, and they're going to
5
force
years.
you to take us. They're going to force you to make a certain rate of return.
would it be beneficial to wait until Oak Creek is done with their water project?
I think, yeah, we kind of are independent of that. I mean, our rates are going to go up. Excuse me, with that, and I'm sure there's an automatic. If Oak Creek raises their rate, I'm sure there's an automatic raise in ours. That's how typically.
Do you think we could do a simplified rate case instead
No,
of?
and not if you haven't been in for a while.
It hasn't, it's 5 years, I believe.
Yeah.
it is.
Right.
it's gonna be a full, I think that was some of the, it was talked about, and then there's no allocation, the outside help it's gonna take.
Yeah, you'd have to budget for someone to come in and help you. Because you're probably not going to have time. I mean,
I don't think Oak Creek's plant is gonna be done for
and I don't think they're planning on an increase for it.
2-3 years.
And they're not planning for
I
an
don't
increase
think they
either.
were.
So
I
that's
don't
what they
think-
touted that they were.
What?
They touted they weren't.
Yeah, so I would,
So should we wait till 2026 to go for a rate case, or are you looking to try and put something in this budget and work on it in 2025?
well, if we're operating at a deficit,
Yep.
I would put something in this budget so that if we needed to start the process, we have the money there to do. You know, I don't know what a consultant's cost. You can talk to Trilogy. I'm probably Trilogy does it. Baker Tilly does it. Brooker Belgie does it. You know, so you can just have them come, you know, to help you out with a rate increase. We can talk outside.
We'll pick your.
Flexible.
What's that?
I'm flexible.
Thank you.
Like I said, I need your knowledge, so 'cause I'm learning this. But I will work on that so that we can put something in this budget for the November meeting.
Okay.
But other than that, was there anything else? Like I said, I mean, it was very, wholesale water. I calculated that again based on
Yeah.
usage. I calculated $3.4 million. Looks like we're gonna spend roughly 3.4 for 2024.
Okay. You know, having been through mine, I'm going to show you something that we typically
Yeah.
go through after the meeting, and I'll.
Yeah, like I said, please, I put this out there, and then any
Yeah.
feedback on how I can do it better.
I mean,
Come back at the next.
This is just really difficult for you to analyze because you only have the main accounts here. You don't have the breakdown of individual accounts, so you can't really see.
Has that been presented before?
No, that's what I'm just used to.
Okay, and that's what I liked. I printed it for myself, but I guess, just going off of what's been presented in the past, but I'm all for giving you guys every line item so you can see. I appreciate that more than me trying to tell you what to
We
be
printed
font.
big so that we could really see
Oh,
it.
yeah. Throw it on an 11 by 17.
That's the meeting I was just at.
Okay. Yeah. Well, appreciate all of the feedback and kind of like a fresh start here for all of us in some ways.
Okay, are we satisfied with that?
Yep.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna
And D, electional officers. I
You wanna
think
hold?
Yeah, we're not gonna do.
He's here. Make sure you guys want to do it again.
Yeah. Right.
Huh?
He said you want to hold and wait until
Yeah,
Jim is
Jim's here because Jim's not here. I don't want to nominate him and then elect him and then he says,
You want to let him in on or
I did-
or after?
Well, last time you had heads up on something, do you have anything heads up on Jim?
no.
Oh, okay. Forget it then. Because I didn't think he was gonna renew.
Oh, really?
Table to next month?
Yeah.
Yeah. And from the standpoint of the, we'll just have Dan sign this too, is that okay? We have to have two signed.
Okay, that's fine.
We'll go ahead and,
I'll get it.
Okay.
And then motion to adjourn.
Second.
motion's been made and second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.